Most definitely. A very good morning to Ayanda and to our viewers at home. You're right. At this point in time in South Africa, none of us would want to find ourselves in the situation that the workers of Goodyear, a company, find themselves in as they go into this morning. We know very well that the company is winding down. It has announced that it is restructuring, and that process would see the closure of that manufacturing plant, a tire manufacturing plant in Kariga in the Eastern Cape province. And we hear as well that a lot of workers have really been anxious around what is looming because we understand that this is a process that was announced about 2 months ago. One thing that has been notable, Ayanda, where this story is concerned, is that NUMSA, this would be the National Union of Metal Workers of South Africa, they've been in the forefront of trying to negotiate a better package for these workers, because at this point in time, we understand that there's no saving of these jobs. What they are going to be doing is winding down, the company confirming here. And the CCMA has been facilitating this process. Even on Friday, there was a sitting to ensure that there's a better deal that these workers would get out of this particular process. Concerns have been raised around some of the workers here, Ayanda, that have been working for the company for years, 3 decades, others here, and they would want to leave this company at least with a little bit of a better settlement that would carry them for years to come. But that is what NUMSA has been inundated with. And this morning, we're expecting for them to give us a sense of where they are with the employer under the facilitation of the CCMA. We know that this is provisioned for under the Labour Relations Act, and that would see at least the parties getting together. But NUMSA had raised concerns already around the package that has been proposed by the employer, which is why then the CCMA have had that marathon of meetings to ensure that there's a better package for these workers. Ayanda?
All right, Kateo Luhori left to us there from Newtown, and of course NUMSA is also facing a number of challenges, just insofar as, I suppose, just how much influence unions typically have in South Africa. So a few things I imagine that they're going to have to address once that briefing begins. Kateo was live to us from Newtown in Johannesburg. Now, the Tshwane Metro has, the Tshwane Metro has contravened the Municipal Finance Management Act by agreeing to pay a main contractor for road work in Lynnwood before the work even started in December last year. Work has since been halted, with subcontractors unwilling to continue with this work until their invoices have been processed. Watching this story for us is Ofentse Setimo, who joins us now live from Lynnwood. Ofentse, let's take a couple of steps back. What was this project meant to do? How far did it get? And how much of a disruption has that pause caused there?
Good morning, Ayanda. Well, I can tell you that this project actually started somewhere around 2022, and I'm speaking under correction as some of the subcontractors are here actually to elaborate on a couple of facts. But we know that it's a roadwork construction project that is actually underway. It was supposed to have been completed sometime last year, but unfortunately, due to financial mismanagement and the reimbursement of monies before the project even started, subcontractors were compromised to a certain extent, leading up to them spending their own money, pushing the projects. But when they issue invoices, then those invoices don't get paid. Just so that you can get a sense, I'll just ask my guests just to move aside so you can see where we are. As you can see that, they've dug a trench here, which has actually been left. Now, some of the local residents have been telling us that, this is a hiding spot for some vagrants who would actually pose a threat, in terms of committing crime and the like. So they're saying that also there's some sewage spillage that has been caused by some of this unfinished work. But I'm actually joined now by Ausfrida, who's a subcontractor, who's going to elaborate on how they've been affected due to the erratic payment of their invoices. Ausfrida, thank you so much for your time. Can you just tell us how you've been affected? We've heard how cars have been repossessed, some people have been assaulted by their workers. Just tell us some of the experiences you've endured due to the failure to pay your invoices.
Thank you, Ofentse, and the viewers of the SABC. My name is Frida. I'm a subcontractor of which we are directly affected by the non-payment of the Lynnwood Road C road transport. We've been doing pavement, and then some of the subcontractors we've been doing the pipelines. As we are here now, we are very frustrated because since our payments were not met, and then our workers are so frustrated to such an extent. Some of our workers have been assaulted, and then one of our main guy who was doing a beautiful job of paving. He was admitted at the hospital because of the guys, the team that we were working with him. They thought maybe he has the money. Unfortunately, even on our side, we don't have that money. We have other subcontractors of which our vehicles have been repossessed, and then one of our guy is been pawning the vehicle to try to have a living, but unfortunately up to today the vehicles are still with the pawn shops, of which we don't know whether we are going to be able to release their cars or not. This thing is very frustrating and it's very hectic, and then some of us, we have children of which day to day they must travel to school, they must use the public transport, the taxis, and they commute with the bus. We can't even afford to pay to load a city tickets for our kids to go to school. So as we are where we are sitting now, everybody is affected. The ill health, we are sick. Our hypertension is very high because every morning when you wake up with the empty fridge. You can't even afford to buy a mere bread. So this thing is a chaos, and then we've been seeing this as a scam because since December they've been pushing us to come on site to work. We try our best to put petrol to ferry our workers to work with our little money that we have, and it's so disappointing when you put invoice. They will say we are waiting for City of Tshwane to pay, only to find that they already eat the money. So we are so frustrated because we want that money or their retention that is being retained by City of Tshwane to look on that retention, so that we must also be compensated. We need all our invoices that we brought forward to be paid as we speak now. So for now, I can say everybody is ready for money. If it comes to a push that we visit City of Tshwane and we take our family and go and squat there, we'll do that, because some of us, we are paying rent where we're staying. We can't even afford the rent. Every time you give an excuse to a landlord, so they are tired with our stories. It's a lot that is happening and is a burden. Really, this thing is tiring, and then we are not going to take this anymore. As a woman, we feel that we've been abused. Women in construction are not taken serious. We've been a victim of all of being subcontractors with all the contractors that are happening in Tshwane. Tshwane is misusing us, so we are tired. I believe this month, as a August month, a month for women, City of Tshwane is led by women. I know even the project itself, the MMC and the MEC of transport, they are both women. They'll take this to their consideration and be in our position and make sure that maybe they resolve this amicably as soon as possible.
Yes, and I heard them mention that, I was speaking to the CLO actually earlier, and she mentioned that some of the workers from EPWP and herself, they have been paid. What impression does it create with your workers who have not been paid? How do they see you? Do they suspect anything? What is their impression on the ground?
That is the worst mistake they have made. They were supposed to pay the EPWB and then at the same time make sure they pay us, because our workers, they hear that they already paid the EPWB. They think we already received the money. So as we speak now, before we even arrive here, some have been knocking at our doorsteps. They wanted their money because we employ the people we know. We employ the people in the community. We are trying to alleviate poverty with our neighborhood. So they know where we are staying. So they came and knocked and asked the question that why the EPW is being paid, where is ours? So they give the impression that we have the money, of which for us is a matters worse. They must revisit this thing and make sure that also they pay something to the subcontractor so that we can also pay them, because they are crying and then they can't take this anymore. Even excuses, they can't hear our stories anymore.
Absolutely. Well, Ayanda, as you can hear, even, from the voice, that she's quite frustrated by what is actually transpiring, saying that they've spent their own money, but when they invoice, then they are not reimbursed the money that they've spent. She's saying that, they are desperate to a point where they are willing to go have a sit-in with their families at the City of Tshwane to compel them, to ensure that the main contractor who's been contracted to erect the roads here in Lynnwood actually, does right by them. Ayanda?
It goes without saying that we'll have to get the city of Tshwane on record to respond to some of those claims. But for now, Ofentse Setimo, live to us there from Lynnwood. Very important story.